Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Number 8. In today's video, we are on Bango's account from my clan. You guys probably know him. He's helped with a whole bunch of really unique Hydra teams. And in today's video, we are back with another one. This is a Trunda team, but the key thing about this one is it is full auto. We click auto, we leave it run, and it just does its thing, which is super cool. What do we have going on in here? Because you've got a few champions in here that you probably haven't seen too much. Like Countess Lix, she's coming in. What's going on there? We've got Firol the Barkhorn. He's a new legendary, extremely good. We're going to get to see him. Lanicus, I've used her before. Most other people don't, but, you know, Bango's bringing her in, which is cool. And then, of course, Emic. So what is the key concept of this team? Well, key concept is kind of simple. We actually have Trunda in Merciless, which can give cooldown reduction, and she is only going to do her A2, because as we know, her A2 works completely as intended, obviously, and does a completely intended amount of damage on Hydra. Countess Lix does bring us an AoE decreased speed. That's nice, but the main thing about her is cooldown reduction, right? Bit of decreased speed plus cooldown reduction, and that's the main thing that she's here for. Lanicus is providing us increased crit rate and attack and can extend buffs and do an ally attack. Brilliant. Emic Trunkheart. He does a couple of things. So number one, he gives us a shield, which is nice. And he also does a little bit of cooldown reduction. You see the sort of theme here. We want lots of cooldown reduction for our Trunda. He also gives us unkillable with taunt and shield. So that's going to be nice as well. It's going to help us to stay alive. We've got Lydia. She's not even using her A3. She's just for the decreased defense and weaken. And then we've got new champion, fairly new, Feral Barkhorn. So great to get to show him off. He brings us increased resistance and perfect veil. And he also gives us buffs, right? The more buffs we're under, the more stuff we get. So if we can get 4 buffs, 20% more damage. And he also gives us bonus resistance and accuracy. He improves our team resistance. We're going to resist like everything, basically. Perfect Veil lets us be protected from the fears, which are not resistible. And yeah, he also brings us AoE block buffs, decrease accuracy as well. He's decreased speed on his A1. Lots of really cool stuff. In terms of interesting sets, we've got Merciless on Trunda. We'll show you all the gear after. I think basically half of them are in Reflex. We've got Reflex, I think, on Lix, Lanicus, and Emic. Lix, Lanicus, Emic. I think Lydia is in Cursed set, and then Firol is in Protect. Or Lydia, excuse me. I think Lydia is in 9-piece Protection, and maybe Countess Lix is in Cursed set. And then Firol, I think, is also in Protection. Let me double check that, just make sure I'm right. In fact, let me just show you the builds right now, and then we'll see how it goes. So Trunda, she is in these stats, so crazy stats, 7k attack, 358% crit damage. She obviously only needs 70% crit rate, so that's big. That's with 6-piece of Merciless, and she has Helm Smasher, and obviously more cooldown reduction stuff. We have Lix, Countess Lix, she's in here. So she has got these masteries not fully finished. She is in the Reflex set. So she's in Reflex. We've got Lydia. She's coming in. No blessing on her. She has the 9-piece protection. So she puts out, obviously, the 2 buffs, the strength and increased speed. That's going to be giving us 5% more damage per buff. So that's 10% more damage. And she has these masteries right here. We have Firol. He is the one who's in Cursed, actually. So he is in Cursed because he does have the AoE. He only has the 1 AoE, but there we go. He is in the Cursed set. And he's got these masteries. And these are his stats right there. So it is, it's pretty good gear, to be blunt. We've got Emic coming in. He's got these stats. So he's got high resistance. Probably doesn't super need it, but I guess it keeps him safe not to have stuff stolen. And those masteries. And was that it? I think that was it. We can jump into the run. Lanicus, sorry. Let me just show you Lanicus. She's definitely in Reflex. Lanicus. Yeah, there we go. Lanicus is in Reflex, these sort of stats, and she has these masteries. So there you go. You've seen the builds, you've seen the champions. Now we got to see what damage this does. And here we go. Again, this is full auto, which is just fantastic. Most of these Trunda keys, they're doing obviously this crazy damage, but you have to manual them. Not with this one, which is nice. So unfortunately, Lydia does get feared right at the start, but because she is the first one to go right there, it's no problem. And Trunda's doing Trunda things already, ladies and gentlemen. We've got 6 million damage off the bat, which is kind of insane, right? We get a little bit of cooldown reduction right there. There's another bit of cooldown reduction. Decreased defense weaken goes back out. Trunda should, I think she's got one more turn left to go. She got a decreased cooldown proc right there as well. So that's what we're looking for. We're getting some nice cooldown reduction there. Lanicus ally attack, curiously enough, does not target decapitated heads. This should be a big hit from Trunda. Are we ready? We're about to 1 key, hard difficulty. Kaboom! There it is. 30 million. All right, so 50 seconds, and we've more than 1 keyed hard difficulty Hydra. Again, you know, like I said, Trunda, her damage capability is, of course, it's completely intended. There's no weird interactions here, no bugs. This is all obviously, you know, healthy game design as the developer, I'm sure, originally intended. But anyway, here we go. So yeah, it's a very creative team. And what I love about it, like I said, it's the full auto nature. And we're really stacking a lot of damage multiplication, right? We're getting the 20% damage from Feral. We're getting the 10% damage, in this case, from the Lydia in protection set. We're getting pretty consistent with our buffs because of the Lanicus. We're really stacking up all these cooldown reduction sets to make it consistent, on cooldown reduction champions to make it consistent, and we're getting the decreased speed from Licks. That's nice utility. We're getting the unkillable and the taunt from Emic, which is protecting us as well. We're getting that utility plus the shield. So yeah, it is pretty phenomenal. We're going to lose obviously a bit of chunk of damage right there. That was a weak hit, and these heads got cleansed. They also have the damage reduction. So that's sort of where you probably lose the most damage, honestly, is just have to wait for these heads to take a turn for their damage reduction to drop. But it is fascinating, and that was an interesting piece of tech as well. Actually turning off Trunda's A3, because with Merciless, she is getting that extra cooldown reduction. And we don't really have to worry very much about, you know, the Head of Mischief or anything like that. Reason being very simple, that, well, we've got Feral Barkhorn. We've got increased resistance with good uptime. You know, it's just not that much of a threat. So yeah, there is going to be some randomness in this. Of course, you know, we could, with the fear, like we've got a few champions feared right now. You could, you know, miss a fear at the wrong time. We could, you know, get a poison cloud up. That'd be kind of rubbish. It could happen. Like, these things can happen. Like, Lydia's being feared right now. She can miss her decreased defense weak, and it goes on cooldown. But the cooldown reduction from the other champions should help to smooth that out and hopefully make it a bit more consistent. So here we go. She actually got it off this time. That's great. Trunda should pop off. Let's go. That reflect damage potentially could be a little scary, but we've got the shield on to protect. Kaboom! Bam! You're dead. Let's keep watching till we get to 100 million. It's not going to take us very long. Needless to say, it's really not going to take us very long at all. We should just slam through. He's been running this team full auto now for a couple of weeks and having really good results. He did do a test run already. I've not done a test run yet, but he did a test run already on this rotation. And he said this rotation, just the different affinities for the heads, he did slightly worse, but still an absolutely staggering amount of damage. So we'll see that in a second. Kablam! There's the 100 million. You know, you were thinking, no, well, we're at 60 million. You know, we could be waiting here a while for the 100 million. No, it's Trunda, so we're not. I tell you what we're going to do, guys. This gives you a sense for how the team runs. It is absolutely incredible. Really, really clever team. Let's see how much damage we do. Again, I'm not going to touch anything. I'm going to walk away from the PC. We're going to leave it running. And yeah, I mean, right now we're doing almost 6 million per turn, like something like that. So we're doing a lot of damage. We'll see where we end up, how we end up. Yeah, stay tuned. I'll be right back with the final result, full auto for this team. All right, guys, we're actually almost at 1 billion damage right now. The reason we've come back in, you can see 0 turns, right? Trunda is about to be devoured. Now, it's the first devour of the run. No one's been devoured yet. Trunda has the highest crit damage. She's going to be the first one devoured. She is about to go. So that's the other thing I want to see is how do we do when she's devoured? Because Well, I mean, not to spoil it too much. I mean, it's kind of obvious, isn't it? But Trunda is basically almost all of the damage. So this is where, we could potentially slow down a fairly significant amount. But there you go. As you can see, we've got enough damage with the rest of the team that we can break her free fairly no problem. Again, it's a little bit unfortunate right here that she gets broken free. And then, we put the decreased defense weaken and it gets cleansed off straight away. But we'll see with the cooldown reduction, depending on how stuff lines up, she should get back to it fairly soon enough. One funny thing about this as well that I've seen, because I was watching this, especially getting ready, but when you've got a decapitated head with decreased defense and weaken, Trunda's A2 will basically one-shot the head of the head of mischief, the buff steal one, right? When that head spawns in, even with the damage reduction from spawning in fresh, she can still one-shot it with an A2 on a decapitated head. It's sort of that crazy. Like, yeah, there we go. There's the 1 billion. Yeah, so this has certainly by far exceeded my record in less than a quarter of an hour. I think that's basically everything we have to see for the run. That's how Trunda gets broken free, and now Trunda is not going to get devoured for absolutely ages. Lydia is up next, but it's not too much of a worry, I think. So let's leave it running, and yeah. Oh, well, guys. Okay, so what happened not long after what has happened? Trunda actually died to the reflect damage. So she fired off her A2. It actually happened literally one turn before Unkillable went up from Emic, and she actually died to the reflect damage. So only 1 billion. I mean, let's end battle and let's see those overall stats so you can get a vibe for it. But right there, you can see Trunda is most of it. I mean, everyone else is contributing a bit. Firal, to be fair, is most of the contribution, and most of that is the Hex boosting Trunda. As you can see, by the way, like almost no awakenings on this team. We've got a 1-star polymorph and Emic that's really not doing anything. Trunda does have the 4-star heaven cast, but there's a lot of room for that to do better. Let's throw it in again and let's go. That's a little bit unlucky. Let's, again, leave it run the whole way through. I thought that was interesting, though, so we could see it sort of flop. We could see a failure. Let's see how we do the second time. Let's see. Here we go. Alrighty, and there we go, ladies and gentlemen. I can't even... What is this? 2 billion? 2 billion damage on Hydra hard with this full auto. As you can see, Trunda is almost all of it. We've got a little bit from Countess Licks, a little bit from everyone. Feral a decent chunk from the Hex, but I mean, really, it's Trunda, man. It is Trunda, but what a team. Absolutely fantastic team coming in full auto. And again, a lot of room to grow this team. We still have 5 levels to go in Feral. There's a few masteries missing here or there. We saw that. We could obviously pull souls for these champions, and that would power them up. I was chatting to Bango as well, and he was saying that he'd actually like to get Merciless on some of these champions, and that would possibly up the damage even more. And he's also saying, compared to other people in our clan, right, that their Trundas are even more insane. Like, they're pushing 400% crit damage and all of that. So there's definitely room for this to grow. But that's 4.6 billion clash points right there. You've basically you've done top chest and Hydra Clash with an extra 4 billion on top of that. That's quite something, guys. Let's keep results. We're locking this one in. His goal was to get over 2 billion. I did have to do one other run. It's actually a third attempt. You saw the first attempt where Trunda died. This run actually ended with Trunda dying to reflect damage. That seems to be what kills it. Trunda dies to reflect damage. In the second run, we got really bad luck and Countess Licks died kind of early. And we still did another like 500 million, but then we sort of fell behind. But yeah, there you go. Kind of nutty. Kind of nuts right there. Like with one key of this has just outperformed all 3 keys of my account, actually by a fairly substantial margin. Right? I don't have a Trunda. There's just not much I can do. But yeah, it's not too bad coming in here. We even have a really nice Nightmare key with really, really good champs in there. But this hard key, whew, It's pretty stonks. It's pretty stonks. Now, obviously, yes, compared to the Uber key, right? This one right here, you've got a couple of Nias in there. This Trunda is going to do more. Or your best sort of possible key. Well, this is not even the best possible. This is good, but double Yumiko right in there again. Trunda will do more with double Yumiko, but those are manual. So I think for somebody that does not have Yumiko, right, and if you don't want to run a manual key with Nias and stuff like that, this is full auto. Slap them in, leave them go, and get yourself an absolutely monstrous key. Again, get yourself a key that unless someone else is running massive Trunda keys, no one else can even come close to this. Like, they can't even come close. You're that far ahead of everyone else. So, yeah, there you go. Again, will Plarium nerf Trunda? Here's the thing. It's kind of interesting in terms of this video. According to them, they said no. And the reason is that the teams are so difficult to build. Right? That's the thing. To actually build a Trunda team is so difficult that like here, this is the Uber key, right? This is the Uber one. This is the best possible right there. To do this is so difficult that they don't intend to nerf it anytime soon. And I think that that's probably true, because you need like Trunda. You need a Trunda for every team, and then you need stuff to empower her. Like, we can see we've only got one Trunda team set up right here. To run two of them is just too much, right? It just, it's very difficult to actually do it. So yeah, I mean, that's the thing. They can still sell you Hydra champions, right? They can still sell Hydra champions because having 3 of these Trunda keys is just really tough. Well, it just became a lot more accessible today, thanks to Bango. A good, really good Trunda key, full auto with, again, a Fusion and Emic. Guaranteed, like, again, you have to get lucky. You have to pull a Feral, you have to pull a Countess Lix and a Lanicus. I guess Countess Lix was a guaranteed champion ages ago. But Emic was a recent fusion that, unless you messed up like I did, you will have him. And Lydia, everyone can get. You got to pull, obviously, the Trunda as well. But yeah, if you got a Trunda, it's probably the most accessible, highest scoring team. The Nia ones would definitely be in contention as well if you're happy to manual. So the Nia teams are really good because she's an epic. That's a very strong option. But yeah, this one is real nice too. So there you go. Thanks to Bango for showing us this key. Let me know what you think. It is nuts. Again, yeah, there you are. And there's room to grow. According to Bango, this usually does around 2 billion on auto. I think on manual, you go to 3 billion. And he thinks with upping the gear and playing on manual, he could probably reach 4 billion, kind of no problem, with more optimization and more gear on these. 4 billion is possible with this team. There you go. See you next time, guys. Goodbye.